Hello, everybody. I know it's coffee time. You can grab your cup of coffee and tea. So, what are we going to talk about today? So, we are at Acuver Consulting, IT company, predominantly into business and IT consulting on supply chain platforms. So, what we going to talk about the next 15-20 minutes is the problems what we actually solved for India brands in D2C world, and even some amount of omni-channel brands where they really need to have a different kind of a mindset in terms of operations and technology enablement, and then also some of the global brands where the common problem statements were there as denominators, but then the dynamicities in the supply chain are very different. If we compare from geography to geography, last mile delivery in India is very different. Warehousing is very different in UK for that matter, or for India is different, and US it's very different because of the territorial and the demographic patterns, right? So we're going to talk about what problems we solved, how did we solve, and so off that, and definitely a lot of people in this audience have good amount of supply chain quotient on how you are managing your business in terms of inventory, operations, technology to a good footprint, and you definitely have visions on how you want to run in the next 2 years, 3 years, 18 months at a short term, right? So, so our theme from an Acuver Consulting is pretty much not related to just IT consulting, because IT consulting people will think it's all about building software, right? But there's no point building software without understanding the pulse of the business, right? What do you do in your warehouses? Today, what we are seeing is people see ads on Netflix. They figure out after the movie or a web series come on to a website, Amazon, Flipkart, or even D2C, your own website. Then they go to a store. If the store is there, obviously they'll check out, have a look and feel experience. They come back and then place it on the app. That is the kind of footprint we are seeing with our shoppers, right? And it could be with most of the brands, apparel, electronics, footwear, jewelry. A lot of times we also see jewelry is, are people buying more in India? Yes, they do. A lot of silver buying is happening in India, but gold is catching up. It's not really far away. You can see Akshay Tritiya is really churning on the coffins, right? So, a lot of thought process has to be understood from business perspective. It's not just IT, because IT is just a enabling vehicle, and that is what Acuver Consulting brings with a diverse variety of business knowledge along with IT. Now, this is our footprint globally where we are serving customers across, and what we do predominantly is solutions on order management, warehouse management, last mile delivery, digital transformation on customer experience, and front-end content management, and so on. So digital, I'll just try to take a minute more on digital transformation. I think there's a myth that digital transformation means just I go online on Shopify or any of that and I'm digital. It's not. As a D2C brand, digital means understanding the customer more and more digitally. Today, customers are getting into the stores. Customers just give their phone numbers to do shopping with an OTP. You don't know much about their preferences. So digital transformation is not about just having a catalog ranged on a website, on any platform for that matter, but also talking about how do I know my customers in a digital way. There can be same physical customer, but digitally he is different on a website and an app and a store, right? Possibly. Then how do you know digitally your supply chain operations are? How is your picking efficiency? Anything you touch in the warehouse, what you're fulfilling for your shopper, you need to know at every point, regardless of where the inventory is, right? It can be at QC, it can be at picking, it can be at the aisle, it can be in a zone where you're trying to do cross-docking. But that is where the IoTs and the technology elements come in to give you the kind of visibility you want to make decisions. How can you have dynamic digital transformation of pricing strategies? In an hour, you want to do different pricing strategies because you're in the middle of peak season, right? And based on hourly update, you need to have a different pricing strategy. Not every time a markdown works, not every time a promotional pricing works. So digital is all about understanding, not purely from a catalog being ranged with assortments. It's all about understanding your customer, understanding your supply chain partners, 3PLs, and so on, right? So that is where digital transformation becomes more and more challenging. And what we're trying to do is kind of working with these customers in India and even abroad, pretty much on what kind of problems I spoke about earlier. We're going to do a bit of deep dive on the problems. Most of these brands are well known to everybody in this room. I don't have to say about it. Some of these have common problem statements. I'm sure you guys do also definitely have. Some of you already have changed that, challenged that in your own intuitive and creative way. We'll see what problem statements we have solved, at least for a couple of them, right? Um, so the first thing which I want to take a stab at it is promising. So nobody as a shopper would want to see on the website, I have inventory, great. I can go to any website of your DTC brand. The product is available, I want to order for my mother, right? But then if the product doesn't come on the Mother's Day, then I don't really like it, right? I can see it's available, great, you're showing green, red and all the ambers. You also promise a date, whether will you be able to keep up the promise? So this is one of the biggest reasons we saw that customers are unhappy. A lot of times there are a lot of returns because the promises are, I will say, over promise, under delivered, right? Or they are not accurate. And you will see a lot of these shoppers do not like a message. Even I would not like, usually ships between 2 to 3 business days. That is not a message you want to really do. That means what? You have not understood your supply chain digitally. There are 2 facades to it. Internal facade. How is your picking efficiency in warehouse? What is your capacity in the warehouse? If if shoppers are ordering gifts, if they are ordering personalization, does it need more time? You have not understood your velocity. A store or a warehouse is not able to fulfill, probably because they are working on something else more priority. You need to know that. That needs to be factored into the lead time for promising. You are all good, but have you understood the other side, the second facade? Do you know your customers well? Knowing a customer doesn't mean you know the customer is gold, platinum, and bronze, and so on. What are customer choices and preferences? Do you know the digital identity of your customer or a shopper? Do you know the external facade of your last mile delivery partner? How much of a time, what is the percentage of compliance your last mile delivery partner has offered? It's 90%, 80%. Normally we go with a weightage. Last mile delivery partner is a choice of cost. Probably it's a cost, it's a function of your cost and proximity. Beyond that, compliance is a big thing. Today we see a lot of these D2C brands whom we worked with, whom I showed in the previous slide. They all struggled with just 1 or 2 last mile delivery partners. The compliance ratios are very skewed because supply chain fulfillment and the last mile fulfillment in India is very different. Not every partner delivers to Kashmir, not every partner delivers to Assam. Not every partner delivers from Kanyakumari to Delhi, isn't it? So they have a different set of constraints because you're talking about not just apparel, which is very simple and brown goods. You're talking about refrigerators, you're talking about ACs, you're talking about furniture, big items. So this is one of the factors which you need to understand. Front end, what is happening with my customer, what are my choices, what are my preferences. Internally, how is my partner and vendor doing? If you do not know your supply chain well, you cannot model that in your solution, regardless of the IT solution you bring in. So your promises are going to be, again, very abstract. Usually ships between 1 to 2 business days. Usually ships between 3 to 4 business days. It doesn't get any value to customer, right? And you don't want to be in a situation where you overpromise and say, I will ship to you tomorrow 5 p.m., but eventually you ship the next day after that. So customer most probably has missed a date for his birthday. Then you end up having a RTO. So this is what we have tried to solve with these D2C brands, understand their supply chain from a business consulting perspective, bring in that element as a technology into modeling all those configuration business rules for accurate promising. So everybody would want to see, you order now, you get the product in 5 p.m. today, you will get the product in 5. You want to be more closer. I'm not saying that is 100% accurate, but you want to be more closer and closer, right? So that is promising and how we have seen improvements in certain brands. The next thing is, you can promise well, but you should know your inventory position also. Today with brands, what we see, yes, they know inventory, they know what's there in their warehouses, they know what's there in stores, probably if you have offline stores also. But do they know more of that? Because inventory is a function of a location, a date, and a time, right? And also the quality. There can be inventory lying in QC. There can be an inventory which is coming in transit because you planned from your forecast perspective. There is a inventory coming out of a return which you want to have aggressive disposition management. Why can't you promise out of inventory in a truck which is coming back from the shopper's place? Why can't you do a QC much aggressive and be proactive? I know I'm challenging the borders of supply chain. I know I'm challenging the operations of supply chain, but there are intuitive ways to look at it. So inventory is not about just having visibility. Okay, I have on hand, this is the date, this is the warehouse. Can I offer this for selling? Obviously, the function what we spoke about promising is derived out of ATP, available to promise. Available to promise, everybody knows is supply and demand, supply minus demand. But then what is your right supply? Demand, yes, definitely everybody knows. This is your order history. How can you basically get your supplies? Do you have the equation for sorting out all the supplies? Supply is not just whatever you have today, whatever you have tomorrow. Are there pre-orders? Are there replenishments coming in? What is your forecasting amalgamation, right? So centralized inventory visibility is one of the things which is extremely important for a foundation stone for the promising to occur very good. It's not sufficient that you promise very good dates and be aggressive, but that is derived internally and implicitly from this, right? So this is one problem statement which we tried to solve and we've been successful at it. I think as a natural extension of this, when the brands have got confidence and promising, brands are really comfortable in their digital inventory presence. They know what they're selling. They know how they're managing inventory. Are they efficient? They're inefficient? There are ways the cycle counts are not happening. Their wave plannings can be better. Batch management can be better. Can you also push your business onto marketplaces? It's not that this has to be a mandatory, because it's a business choice that they don't want to be on marketplace, because there are various conditions and terms which you need to get onto marketplace, and you might not be really willing to share your brand, which is a premium brand, on marketplace. But if there is an intention, how soon can you get onto a marketplace? Do you again say that I want to sell on Myntra and Flipkart and Amazons and other marketplaces, but can I just go and try it as a pilot for 2 weeks and see what happens? Can I have my catalog there? Can I have my pricing there? Can I have my inventory data there? Right? How soon I can get it? Because that is a play where today the democratization is happening even for ONDC. Not everybody is inclined to get onto ONDC, but that is a way we are having a Cartesian product expansion of your buyers coming into this, right? Today you have brand specific buyers. There are loyal buyers who are actually buying from your sites, buying from your app, buying from your stores. But the democratization, ONDC and even marketplaces also is kind of monopoly today. They're also trying to actually being aggregated as part of ONDC. That is the view what the forum is going towards, right? So how soon can you get into marketplaces? Can you do a pilot and see whether they are getting any business for us? Marketplaces are good to know, they can get customers, but are there conversions? Are there real margins? So we basically also try to experiment this with few customers, and we were able to successfully have customers on marketplaces with just 2 weeks. And they saw like big improvement in their sales. It's about giving an opportunity as a platform, because this is one of the digital platforms, right? Of course, in this business of marketplace, it's not truly that you control everything, but you have a lot of opportunity to grow your sales, and cash flow definitely is a different engine, right? But the brand building might not really happen on marketplace. The brand building happens in outside the marketplace ecosystem, right? So this is about time to market on marketplace as a digital channel. The last thing which is a natural and further extension of your maturity model in the supply chain is omnichannel. Like I spoke about, a website, an app, a store footprint, then you have marketplace, all of this, right? Like I mentioned about the Netflix example. So customers today go into store, you might actually not be able to identify the customer. He's the same customer coming into a website and trying to have his preferences. Is there an opportunity where a customer as a shopper has identified the list of wish list and put it in his cart, but he goes to the store? Do you want the store manager to basically address him that we see these are the items in your cart, how can I help you? The experience changes. That is true omni-channel, right? No, I do not want the store manager to accept and receive me and say, sir, how can I help you? No, I want him to be enabled more from a technology perspective. Hey, this is Jagadesh. So we saw that you have mark listed few of the items on your cart. Would you be able to experiment and have a touch and feel experience? That's a different omni-channel game. And that is what technology will get you to that power. Right? All these channels of omni-channel marketplace are digital platforms. For that, the maturity model is you start small, then you grow up in your business expansion. And I'm sure all of these leaders in this group have a lot of vision in the next 3 to 5 years, short-term and long-term plans. But I think I definitely agree with the panelists on previous panelists here, right? Not everybody needs to be omni-channel. That is how you have to tailor your business models. Technology can be enabled for multi-channel or omni-channel. But one thing I would like to definitely leave a point. If you want to really offer your customers buy anywhere, return anywhere, and you want to be in a vision, sell anywhere, fulfill anywhere, omni-channel is the way model to you. Right? It will bring complexities. There is no element of doubt. It will bring challenges on the technical side of things. It will bring challenges to the change management ecosystem. There will be resistance in the communities on how they are doing operations in the warehouse, how store managers are incentivized for punching in the orders, right? But I think if that is the way, which is change management is a resisting factor, there are ways to handle it in terms of operationalizing the incentives in a different way. That can be more modeled as a creative way of approaching the supply chain sales. But that should not be a factor where change management is the immunity factor and change management is killing the system. Right? So your vision should be sell anywhere, fulfill anywhere. So what we basically also to enable this, I'll not take much time, this is the last thing we have, is we have pre-built adapters for our D2C brands to go and explore technology. It's a myth that technology is tough. It's not. Technology is not tough. Anybody can learn and do this in 2 to 3 weeks. It's just that it's not sufficient that you learn and deploy. It should be able to scale to your volumes. That is where the technology challenge is, right? So what we identified working with multiple D2C brands, what I showed earlier is kind of compiled the best of the technology providers, including Salesforce, Adobe's, Flipkart's, Amazon, all of this, right? What you see, what you need to run your commerce and supply chain business, right? We try to compile those APIs from these partners and try to have pre-built buffet served for you where you can come, explore, try, and do on. One of our friends, Incref, is there in this room probably. So they offer marriage management systems, Blue Dart delivery, all of this, you know, these are logistics partners. So you have pre-built integrations from Acuver IT team, from engineering team, where you can come, try and explore. When like you can probably in a week you can be able to get 3 more last mile delivery partners into your ecosystem. I'm sure today you're running with multiple partners. Do you want to get into 3, 4, 5? Because you want to evaluate the ranking. It's not that I'm just limited to 2. Like I said, you want to expand your business in Northeast. How would you do it? There's a different channel partner there. It's not going to be easy, right? And some of partners won't do cash on delivery. In India, cash on delivery is a norm. So you would want to do that at a quick time, expand, test the waters, be convinced with the data, right? And how do you test the waters? You should not be spending like 50 lakhs for testing the waters, right? So that is where this model helps you come, explore, try your supply chain integration with whatever IT systems you have, integrate with it, play, then make a decision after it, right? You see with data. Today, I don't think anybody will take decisions on subjective. I need the data points, I need to take it. And this is the model to basically play, explore, have the reports, have the analytics come to your table, then take the decisions. So with that, I think I have done with the session from what problems we solved. As a summary, I would like to say the good promising, accurate promising, accurate promising powered by inventory visibility, centralized inventory visibility. Then we're talking about digital expansion and marketplaces, which is a big wings for the D2C brands, along with ONDC. And then the fourth one is omni-channel experience across the offline and online formats. And all of these powered by pre-built adapters onto the table. Any questions I would be willing to take? Yeah, please.
Can we integrate our tally with this system, tally accounting?
Yes, it can be integrated. So today we don't have tally in this matrix, but tally can be integrated. And Tally is very strong from a financial perspective, from accounts payable and all of that, right? It can be integrated. Today we have that for SAP actually, for one of the functions. Tally can be integrated. As long as they provide APIs in the digital world, there should not be any technical constraint to integrate with Tally, or in for that equivalent of Tally, anyone.
Also, the the brand that you were showcasing have already utilized your solution. I believe their website would be a custom-made website, whereas our website is on Shopify platform. How would that work?
Yeah, I'll tell you. So everybody got the question, right? Some of these brands are custom websites, whereas his brand is pretty much custom, or rather on Shopify, right? So whether you are on Shopify or whether you are on custom, it doesn't matter, because what you're trying to put on the website is just a digital catalog with images and pricing. That's all you put. But that is not digital, because the backend APIs are the eyes and ears for you, right? How you want to give a customer experience to it. Customer experience is about giving the right search engine, giving right checkout experience, giving the right payment gateways, and that is basically omni problem. It is not related to Shopify or a custom website. That is something which you can do as an underlayer for all of them, as long as they're APIs, and any website or Shopify for that matter will be able to do it. It is not a constraint at all. Because there you're trying to solve not the content, you're trying to basically make sure everything I touch from a customer experience perspective, from a browsing experience, shortlisting, add to cart, giving upfront without even knowing the customer. He's a window shopper on the website. I'm not logged in with my phone, I'm not put in my email ID, but I still want to know to my website, to my zip code, when is my product delivered. You're a window shopper, right? That is an experience. If you go to today Amazon, you can put in your zip code and figure out whether my mattress will get delivered to my zip code or not. That's a shipping restriction. But do you have the shipping restriction basically integrated into your experience platform? That is what we are trying to bring in. So it's not a constraint whether you're on Shopify or on e-commerce or any other custom website. That is purely the content management. Hope I answered your question, sir.
Absolutely, thank you.
Any other last question? Okay, thank you. Please feel free to visit our booth. We can definitely walk through, deep dive into your problem statements. We'll be happy to consult and help you out with whatever problems. Thank you.